Bonjour tout le monde. Welcome to our regular council meeting of September 11th, 2023. I'll begin with item 1, which is roll call. Councillor Lorrain just stepped out, but he'll be back in a minute. And our clerk is here, so we can proceed with the meeting. Before going on to the next step, I just want to, I see a lot of people in the audience this evening, so I just want to reiterate something in our procedural bylaw, which is 7.11 members of the public's code of conduct, so that the members of the public shall refrain from making noise or engage in conversation between one another. So please, if you want to have a conversation, just step out. You're more than welcome to go in and out, but just for respect of the meeting, we want to be able to have conversations without hearing people in the background. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. With that, I'll ask everyone to please stand for the Territorial Land Acknowledgement Statement and Moment of Reflection, which will be followed by the National Anthem.
We acknowledge that we are on the unceded territory of the Anishinaabe and the traditional lands of the Haudenosaunee, Huron-Wendat, and Kanien'kehá:ka peoples. We acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, and sustain these lands and the natural resources contained within.
Attendu que le Canada est fondé sur des principes qui reconnaissent la suprématie de Dieu et la primauté du droit, prenons un moment de réflexion personnelle. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. Thank you very much. With so many musicians in the house, I was expecting it to be much louder, but it's okay. It's all good. Item 4, additions, deletions, or amendments. We have a few adjustments this evening. So first one, item 18C, under myself, Leadership Féminin Prescott-Russell. Item 16C, a bylaw to appoint a new CAO, and this item will be addressed after item 7, before item 8. Item 16B is being changed to the bylaw, just the number 2023-088 will be 2023-088B. And we will be removing item 11F and 16A, which is the 11F was the Parks and Recreation Facilities bylaw. The administration asked that we remove this from the agenda for this evening, and they'll bring it back at a later date. So with those, anything else from members of council? Seeing none. So then I need a mover and a seconder to a motion to approve the agenda as amended. Moved by Conseiller Lorrain, seconded by Councillor Tarnowski. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Item 6, disclosure of pecuniary interest. Seeing none. Item 7, Regular council minutes of August 28, 2023. Motion to approve the following minutes as presented. Need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Conseiller Lalonde, seconded by Conseiller Lorrain. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. So we move on to 16C. So I am pleased to share some important news that marks the next step for the Township of Russell this evening. We are pleased to announce the appointment of Richard Godin as our new Chief Administrative Officer, effective tomorrow. Well, at least after this bylaw is passed, so hopefully I'm not jinxing it. Richard has been a dedicated member of our township since 2014, beginning his tenure as Deputy Treasurer. Over the years, he has climbed the ranks, most recently serving as the Director of Corporate Services. His service over the years speaks volumes about his leadership and commitment to our community. The appointment follows an extensive search process that saw nearly 40 candidates apply for this position. This level of interest is a testament to the attractiveness of our township as a place of employment and growth. The search for Richard's replacement as Director of Corporate Services will commence shortly. I would like to extend our gratitude to the entire executive team for their unwavering support during this transition. As we move forward, we remain committed to our vision of making the Township of Russell a collaborative, connected, and sustainable community for everyone. In closing, we are excited about this new chapter and look forward to Richard's contribution in his new role as Chief Administrative Officer. At this time, I suggest we vote on the bylaw, and then I'd like to open the floor for any comments from Mr. Godin himself and council members. We'll proceed with the bylaw. Bylaw 2023-097, being a bylaw to appoint a Chief Administrative Officer and the second Deputy Clerk. Be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Russell enact as follows. That Richard Godin be and is hereby appointed Chief Administrative Officer for the Corporation of the Township of Russell effective September 12, 2023. That Richard Godin be and is hereby appointed as second Deputy Clerk for the Corporation of the Township of Russell effective September 12, 2023, in the case that neither the Clerk nor the present Deputy Clerk are available to do the Clerk's duties. 3, that bylaw number 2023-080, being a bylaw to appoint Richard Godin as interim Chief Administrative Officer and second Deputy Clerk, to remove, c'est vrai, to remove as the interim chief, my apologies. Approved on August 17, 2023. B, and at the same, is hereby repealed effective September 12, 2023. Read a first, second, and third time passed. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Tonoski, seconded by Conseiller Lalonde. Called for the vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Congratulations, Monsieur Godin. I give you the opportunity to say a few words.
Merci, Monsieur Maire. Bonsoir, chers membres du Conseil. So I would like to take a few, not too long, but say a few words. First and foremost, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude to Council for placing their confidence in me. To be entrusted with the role of CAO for this wonderful township is both an honor and a great responsibility, and it's one that I accept with humility and enthusiasm. Our township's leadership team is both robust and stable, which is instrumental in ensuring a seamless transition for me. Their unwavering commitment, combined with our shared vision, has laid the foundation for the collaborative journey ahead. I'm very excited about the future. Together with the leadership team, the entire administration, and our residents, I'm committed to building a collaborative, connected, and sustainable community. Avant de conclure, je dois aussi prendre un moment pour reconnaître un groupe d'individus qui ont été essentiels dans mon parcours. C'est l'équipe des services corporatifs. C'est avec eux que j'ai exploré au courant des 9 dernières années le monde complexe des affaires municipales, apprenant, grandissant et faisant face aux défis avec détermination. Leur dévouement, leur travail acharné puis leur soutien inébranlable ont non seulement été essentiels dans mon développement professionnel, mais ont également laissé une empreinte sur mon cœur. Donc, ce soir, je me tiens ici en tant que nouveau directeur général, mais je me tiens sur les épaules de leurs efforts collectifs. Je ne serais pas ici sans eux, puis je tiens à les reconnaître et les remercier publiquement. So in closing, I look forward to serving our community with dedication, passion, and a commitment to excellence. Thank you.
Very well said, Monsieur Godin. Thank you so much. Would members of council like to make any comments? We're good? Councillor Tarnowski?
I just want to clap for that. That was very good.
Councillor Lorrain?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say, great job for Richard, but I just wanted to make a comment because I know there's people here for the public session, probably at 7 o'clock, that I don't know if you mentioned that's coming up at 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, no, I'll mention it now. So anyone who's here for the public budget session, that will be at 7 p.m. The regular council meeting will stop. We'll do that public session, and then we'll be back after with the regular council meeting, depending on time. But at 7 o'clock, we should be stopping for the public budget session, if anybody's wondering why we're not at that part yet. So it's at 7 p.m. Thank you, Conseiller Lorrain. With that, merci beaucoup. We will move on to the next item, which is item 8, presentations. First one, Citizen Recognition Community Builder Award. Here's another one. So this is an honor for me to recognize a member of our community. So through our Citizen Recognition Program, we acknowledge the exceptional individuals who make our community a better place. One such individual is Dr. Steve Mihawk, a man whose contributions span not just our local community, but also the global stage. I'd like to extend my gratitude to Nathalie Briand and Phil Soublière for bringing Dr. Mihawk's remarkable work to our attention. Their nomination eloquently captures the essence of a man who is a scientist, a musician, an environmentalist, and a humanitarian. Dr. Mihawk's career as a dedicated scientist and former employee of the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission speaks volumes about his commitment to rigorous scientific inquiry. But his contributions don't stop at the laboratory door. He is also a talented musician who enriches our local cultural scene, bringing joy and inspiration to many. Yet, what sets Dr. Mihawk apart from his expansive definition of community, his work on insect traps that have a transformative impact, not just here in Russell Township, but also in vulnerable communities across Africa and beyond. His decision to provide this groundbreaking technology to colleagues at no cost is a testament to his selfless approach to global well-being. In recognizing Dr. Mihawk today, we are not just honoring one of our own, we are acknowledging a citizen of the world, a man whose actions reverberate far beyond our local boundaries. His life's work serves as a compelling example of how one individual can make a difference on multiple fronts. So it is with great pride and humility that we present Dr. Steve Mihawk with the Township Community Award. Dr. Mihawk, your diverse contributions as a scientist, musician, and humanitarian have left an indelible mark on our community and the world at large. We are honored to call you one of our own. So I'll invite you to come up, and somebody will take a picture. And I'll give you an opportunity.
I'm actually quite used to being at a microphone from my years at the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission and my international work, and lately as a musician. Today I wore my International Center of Insect Physiology and Ecology 25th anniversary t-shirt from almost 30 years ago, and that's really one of the ways I got started on international activities. I just opened a door and took a chance and went overseas. Did it twice actually, and my life has been rewarded by that. And I'm quite happy to say that over all these years, my main achievement, I guess, has been to help people on an individual basis. You know, there's always the scientific achievements, but, you know, I've trained about somewhere around 150 to 200 people on a more individual level in everything that you can imagine, you know, scientifically and, you know, in terms of community participation in particular. So my only advice at my age for everyone in the room is to just take a chance every now and then. Just get out there and try something new. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again. Thank you. With that, we will continue to the next part of our meeting, which is presentations. Police Village of Russell Trustee, Declaration of Office and Oath of Allegiance. Madame Camille Laflamme.
Yes, hello, Mr. Mayor, council members. I'd just like to take the opportunity to say a few words on just the process for the Police Village new trustee appointment. So on October 24, 2022, there was the last municipal elections where 3 Police Village of Russell trustees were elected, and these were Stephanie McMillan, Julianne Dworn-Bankley, and Mike Miller. On June 16, 2023, myself as the clerk, I was advised by email by Mike Miller through an email to the mayor on June 15 that he was giving his resignation as Police Village trustee effective with the swearing in of a new trustee. On September 5th, 2023, at their meeting, the Police Village of Russell board nominated Allison Brown as Mike Miller's replacement for the rest of the term, which is the end of 2026. On today, at this meeting, I will now invite Allison Brown to the podium and to proceed with swearing for her declaration as Police Village of Russell trustee.
Welcome, Allison.
Thank you, everyone. I, Allison Brown, having been appointed to the office of the Police Village of Russell Trustee in the Township of Russell, do solemnly promise and declare that I will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of my knowledge and ability. I have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner. I will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III. And I make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously believing it to be true and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Congratulations. Voilà. Next item, item 9, délégation, il n'y en a pas. Item 10, point par consentement. Motion que tous les documents énumérés sous les points de consentement soient reçus tels que présentés. A. Procès-verbal du comité de citoyens de Marionville du 30 mai 2023. Et B. Procès-verbaux des comtés unis de Prescott-Russell, réunion ordinaire du 24 mai 2023 et réunion ordinaire du 28 juin 2023. Besoin d'un proposeur puis un appuyeur, s'il vous plaît. Proposé par Councillor Tarnowski, seconded by Councillor Deacon. Call for the vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Reports from Department and Council Committee. 11A, bylaw to exempt certain lands from part law control, PD 2023, referred to number 16 on the bylaws, 832, 834 Namur Street in Russell. Any questions, comments, members of council? Hearing, seeing none. Anything to add from the administration?
No,
No.
thank you, Mr. President.
OK. Item B, demande de modification au règlement de zonage, rapport PD 31-2023. Que le Conseil reçoive le rapport PD 31-2023 daté du 11 septembre 2023 et approuve de changement de zonage soumis par Mélanie Construction pour changer le zonage suivant. De zone résidentielle 2, aménagement différé R2H, à zone résidentielle 2 avec exception aménagement différé R229H. Questions, commentaires, membres du Conseil? Councilleur Lorrain.
Just one question, because I know that there was some question about it during the meeting. Is the H holding symbol being maintained on this application? Or was it being removed as part of this application? Because I know that there was two reports and I thought that they were both being removed.
Through you, Monsieur Godin, Monsieur Boudreau.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you for the question. So effectively, you're correct. This one will remain H, given the subdivision is not under construction, whereas the other zoning, which has the same exception, we're taking or recommending the removal of the holding.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Anything else to add? Nope. Okay. Item C, zoning bylaw amendment report PD 32-2023, Mont Blanc Crescent Emblem. The council received report PD 32-2023 dated September 11, 2023, and approved the zoning bylaw amendment application submitted by Melanie Construction, Inc. for the following. 1, from residential 1A holding R1AH zone and residential 2 holding R2H zone to residential 2 with exception R229 zone. Questions, comments, members of council? Seeing, hearing none. Anything to add, Monsieur Boudreau?
Nothing to add, Mr. President. Thank you.
Merci. Item D, demande de modification au règlement de zonage, rapport PD 34-2023, terrain vacant sur le coin de route 300 et le chemin Saint-Guillaume à Embrun. Que le Conseil reçoive le rapport PD 34-2023 daté du 11 septembre 2023 et approuve la modification au règlement de zonage pour changer le zonage de zone parc commercial à zone commerciale générale. Questions, commentaires, membres du Conseil? Anything to add to the report, M. Boudreau?
Non, merci, Monsieur le Président.
Parfait. Item E, zoning bylaw amendment report PD 39-2023 for 387 Castor Street in Russell. The council receives report PD 39-2023 dated September 11, 2023, and approve the zoning bylaw amendment to reduce the lot frontage requirement of the rural residential zone through a special exception applicable to the severed lot identified as Lot B on Figure 2. The lot frontage requested through the zoning bylaw amendment is 20.12 meters, a reduction from the required lot frontage of 45 meters of the rural residential zone. This zoning bylaw amendment is condition number 1 of the consent application B019-2023. Questions, comments, members of council? Anything to add from the administration?
Non, merci, Monsieur le Président.
Merci. Item F was removed. We will move on to item G. Règlement sur les poules urbaines, rapport PIC 07-2023. Que le Conseil reçoive le rapport PIC 07-2023, daté du 11 septembre 2023, et 1. Approuve le nouveau règlement permanent proposé sur les poules urbaines, et 2. Approuve la proposition de règlement visant à modifier l'annexe A2 du règlement sur les droits et redevances 2023-033 afin d'y inclure des frais de demande de permis pour les nouvelles demandes et des frais d'inspection si l'infrastructure est modifiée après l'émission du permis. Questions, commentaires, membres du Conseil? Conseiller Tarnowski?
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Juste une question. In the argument, it talks about the rate and because it's got the inspection. I just want to confirm my understanding. So the $75 and then there is a $40 inspection, but that's only if someone is renewing, or if there was changes, I should say. That $75 includes the first inspection?
Through Monsieur Godin, Madame Bourdeau?
There would be only the initial $75.
OK. Merci, c'est ce que je pensais. Merci.
Okay. Any other questions, members of council? Perfect. Hearing, seeing none. Anything to add to the report? No, we're good. Okay. Next item, item H. Appointment of Drainage Superintendent, Report ISPW 17-2023. The council receives Report ISPW 17-2023 dated September 11, 2023. And 1, approve the proposed bylaw to renew the contract with McDonald Technical Services, Inc. as the drainage superintendent for a 5-year term. 2, that the mayor and the clerk be authorized to sign the contract. Need a mover and a seconder, or no, not at this point. Any questions? I'm off tonight. Any questions, members of council? No? Anything to add to the report, Monsieur Bourgon? No? Okay. Prochain item, item I. Réparation du dôme de sel, rapport ISPW 19-2023, que le Conseil reçoive le rapport ISPW 19-2023 daté du 11 septembre 2023 et approuve l'ajout de la réparation du dôme de sel au budget de 2023 en utilisant l'option 1 de l'implication financière en tant qu'achat à source unique. Questions, commentaires, membres du Conseil? Questions, comments, members of council? Anything to add from the administration? Monsieur Bourgon?
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Donc, je pourrais seulement préciser là, que c'est au travers des économies du budget opérationnel qu'on pourra financer là, la réparation. Puis, puisque c'est encore sous garantie, mais cette option-là nous redonne une garantie là, de 10 ans sur la toile qui va être remplacée.
Oui, non, définitivement fait du sens. Merci beaucoup. With that, if there's no further questions, we'll move on to the next item. Item J, proposed amendments to procedural bylaw 2021-127-CL-2023. Questions, comments, members of council? This was brought at the previous meeting. Councillor Deacon?
If I could, I did receive a suggestion from a resident today that I thought was very worthwhile to look at. So I would, if it's possible, I would like to add some language to 10.3.11.
Okay.
So reading the new suggested terms there, residents, owners of a property, in the township may, the suggested text to add would be, for a period not exceeding 3 minutes each, ask questions without debate or criticism regarding any matter on the agenda. The concern was that if it is limited to a 15-minute question period, that some residents may have a concern that
They
if
hog
there's
it?
a lot of exactly. Thank you for
Okay.
putting it so bluntly. So the idea that we would hope that people would, or put in here that they would be able to, for a period not exceeding 3 minutes each, ask their questions without debate or criticism.
Okay. So thoughts on that? I'm fine with it, adding that clause. So we'll make a amendment. We'll pull this item out and vote on it separately.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Any other questions or comments? Quelque chose d'autre à ajouter, Madame Camille-Laflamme?
Non, Monsieur le maire.
Okay, perfect. Next item, item K, Accessibility Advisory Committee Recommendation 2023-002, Draft Model Standard for the Built Environment. That council received recommendation 2023-002 dated May 17th from the Accessibility Advisory Committee with respect to the presentation of the draft of the model standard for the built environment 2022 to the council, as well as the planning and infrastructure departments for information purposes. Questions, comments on this one? Councillor Lalonde.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I just wanted to briefly mention on that, it came from our Accessibility Advisory Committee. This is a project that the federal government has undertaken and is moving ahead with. What's interesting about it is that the government of British Columbia has already signed on to work with the federal government, sort of with a memorandum of understanding. And just to keep it short and sweet for tonight, because the information is available online, this is about bringing in accessibility standards by the federal government to be applied across federal, provincial, and territorial governments. And the main, one of the main components to it is that it will be looking at bringing accessibility standards to public buildings. So what we've experienced at our level at township up to this point has been all township buildings certainly coming into compliance. But this is much broader and will certainly have impact for municipalities and cities. But it is also a great step forward. Just to maybe just to share a comment of one of our committee members that, you know, it's not just about having a disability and wanting to get into your own place through the front door properly. It's also about wanting to go out and visit friends at their apartments and in public buildings where they are, and not being able to do that at present time when it comes to the private apartment buildings in particular. So we thought it was important that if our planning department wasn't already well aware of this, or council, that we bring it forward for them to, for information purposes, because it is something that's dynamic and being worked on right now as we speak. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions, comments, members of council? At this point in time, the recommendation is just to receive it, and the information will be passed to the two departments. That being said, I think it's a great initiative. You know, hopefully the federal government in doing so puts money where their mouth is to ensure that public spaces are able to have the funding necessary to do so. Because without funding, it will be very, very difficult for example, our small businesses or current, you know, to retrofit everything. That is very costly. But hopefully they step up to the table. Thank you. Next item, item L, Comité consultatif sur l'accessibilité, recommandation 2023-003, amélioration des trottoirs à l'intersection de Notre-Dame et Saint-Pierre. Que le Conseil reçoive la recommandation 2023-003 datée du 16 août du Comité consultatif sur l'accessibilité concernant la réparation du trottoir à l'intersection de Notre-Dame et Saint-Pierre-en-Brun. Questions, commentaires? Did you have anything to add, Councillor Lalonde, to this one?
Just that, again, coming from the committee, it was recognized as a section that was in need of some attention, also brought to our committee by members of the public, that if our administration could have a closer look at that intersection, it was in need of some address.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. Monsieur Bourgon, you see the information. You guys will look into the matter. Parfait. Any further questions or comments? No. Move on to the next item. Item M, Accessibility Advisory Committee Recommendation 2023-004, Feasibility Study for the Installation of Accessible Washrooms at Jonathan Petrie Park. The Council received Recommendation 2023-004 dated August 16th from the Accessibility Advisory Committee with respect to undertaking a feasibility study for the installation of accessible washrooms at Jonathan Petrie Park. Through you, Monsieur Godin, Madame Guittard, I believe we currently have a accessible washroom at the park.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Yes, we do. We had one since May 1st.
Okay.
And it will be leaving on October 31st.
Okay. So it was,
as the same with all our portables.
yeah. Okay, perfect. It could have been that the member of the committee that made the recommendation had not necessarily seen that it was there. But anything to add? Councillor Lalonde?
Yeah, that would be me. No, no, it's indeed, it was obviously the accessibility washroom is there, and I appreciate that it's been there for a while. It was at my suggestion at the time, but it was based on my recollection last year that it hadn't been installed just yet. So thanks to the Parks and Recreation Committee for the great work there, and I would have retrieved it or withdrawn it from tonight, but it was too late.
Madame Guittard?
Yeah, maybe I can add also, last year we did not install a portable because we opened up the park in October. So there were like maybe 2 weeks left for the season.
Gotcha. Perfect. Thank you.
And there's always the accessible bathroom inside the dome that
As well.
anybody can access. also.
OK. Next item, item N, comité consultatif sur l'accessibilité. Recommandation 2023-005, programme d'accès aux toilettes Allez-y, Chronicle Light Canada, que le Conseil reçoive la recommandation 2023-005 datée du 16 août du comité consultatif sur l'accessibilité concernant l'adoption d'un programme d'accès aux toilettes Allez-y dans la municipalité de Russell. Questions, comments, members of council? Councillor Lalonde?
Yeah, another suggestion by our fine group at the Accessibility Committee. So this is a pretty dynamic program and one that is free, as from my understanding in terms of implementing. It basically helps to identify with an app on the phone where those in need of washroom facilities who have a disability like colitis or Crohn's disease can know that they can go in there, and restaurants can participate in this. It's a sticker that goes in the window. They get their place identified. We thought it would be a great idea from our committee level that we identify right away Jonathan Petrie Park accessible washroom facility as one of those places in the app that is accessible to them during the summer and fall months until it has to be shut down. So just hoping that our admin staff will look at that, because it's a way to engage local businesses as well. It's advertising for them, say, hey, we're one of the restaurants that offers this free access. So it's something that maybe EcoDev or Parks may want to look at, and I appreciate if they take the time to do so. Thanks.
Okay. In that case, we'll remove this item to make an amendment to the resolution so that council can give it a direction on that one. Any other questions or comments? No, seeing none. We'll go on to the next item. Item O, Accessibility Advisory Committee Recommendation 2023-006, path leading to the swing set at the St. Thomas Development Park. That council received recommendation 2023-006 dated August 16th from the Accessible Advisory Committee with respect to the paving of the path leading to a swing set at the St. Thomas Development Park. I think this is one of those timing issues where the path was installed after the recommendation had been submitted. But Madame Guittard, you can confirm the path has been installed at that park?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Again, yes, the path has been done.
Okay, perfect. Anything to add? Conseiller Lalonde?
Yeah, just again, appreciate that. It was done. I think some of our group was not aware that it had been done earlier this spring. Another item I would have pulled tonight, but it gives me the opportunity to thank Parks and Recreation again for the fine work that they do in providing accessibility at our park places. Thanks.
Perfect. Next item, item P, Comité consultatif des aînés, recommandation 2023-001, budget 2024. Que le Conseil reçoive la recommandation 2023-001 datée du 24 août du Comité consultatif des aînés concernant l'embauche d'un consultant pour élaborer un plan communautaire favorable aux aînés pour le canton de Russell. I chair that committee, so I'll speak to it. That's just basically, as a committee, we make recommendations to during our budget process, so it's as simple as that. Any questions, comments, Councillor Deacon?
Do we have any sense of what the budget amount would be? Or
not at this point in time. Through the budget process, staff will look at possible costs. I can say that looking at the grants that we're giving to several municipalities in regards to this type of work, it ranged from anywhere to $30,000 to $50,000. So I'm hoping that we have the ability to apply for, including it in the budget under, for example, grants. So we would apply for grants, and if received, then we would have the funds. But yeah, it ranges in the consultants, based on the information I saw online, anywhere from 30 to 50,000.
Thank you. Just a follow-up comment as well. I noticed on the map of age-friendly communities that it didn't appear that there were any other ones in our region. The closest one was, I believe, South or North Glengarry, and then of course Ottawa. So I'm very excited at the idea of Russell showing leadership in this, and I also encourage, when this work is undertaken, there are many regional partners looking at challenges that seniors face in our communities, and I took a look at a couple of reports over the weekend that happy to pass them along if and when the time comes
Yeah,
to support
for sure.
that work.
I think that's where the committee found itself, why, the committee is fantastic, but they don't have the expertise or the experience in such a project. That's why a lot of communities hire a consultant specifically for this reason. So no, definitely pass along that information. Thank you. With that, the next item, item 12, reports from an investigator and the Ombudsman. We have none. Item 13, notice motions. We have none. Item 14, question period on the meeting of the day. Période de questions sur la réunion du jour. So I'll ask anyone who has a question on the amended agenda to please come up and state your name and address for the record and ask your question.
I got a question on number G, urban hen bylaw. Is there I own a farm, and do I have to get a permit to have chickens as well? Or is this just strictly to the rural or
The urban areas.
urban area?
Yes, correct.
Is that within the town limits, or is it also outside?
So, Monsieur Godin, Madame Bordeaux, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's inside the village core. It's not outside the village boundaries.
It's in the village boundaries.
Yeah, so it doesn't apply to outside the village boundaries.
And for how many chickens?
It depends, varies on the size. So there's, depending on the size of their property, they can adjust necessarily, but it's not a ton. No, I think it was, is it 5? Yeah, 5 was the max.
Okay, and why is this implemented, if I may ask?
Is why, the fee?
Why is the fee going to be?
So this was a pilot program we've had for the last few years. So the fee is just for the staff's time to go, like any permit, they go to make sure that everything is up to our standards. And afterwards, it's just to recoup our staff's time, basically.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions, members of the public? Hearing, seeing none, we'll move on to the next item. Item 15, resolutions. Motion that council approve all recommendations listed on the agenda under item 11, reports from department and council committees. We'll put on the floor. I think we have an amendment to remove a couple, so I need a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Lalonde, seconded by Councillor Ternosky. We will have an amendment to remove 2 items, Madame Cameron-Laflamme.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, if you want to talk about the chart, that would be 11J and N for the second one.
Okay, so need a mover and a seconder to remove item J and N. Moved by Councillor Deakin, seconded by Conseiller Lorrain. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. So those 2 items will be voted on separately. So we'll vote on everything except J and N. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. So we'll now go to item J, which was the proposed amendments to procedural bylaw 2021-127, CL 2023. Need a mover and a seconder to put on the floor, please. Moved by Councillor Ternosky, seconded by Councillor Deakin. It's on the floor, so Councillor Deakin, you wanted to make an amendment?
Yes, would you like me to read the language again? So currently, 10.3.11 of the procedural bylaw reads, residents, owners of a property, business owners, or their official representative in the township may ask questions without debate or criticism. I would like propose the amendment that after the word may, we add for a period not exceeding 3 minutes each, ask questions without debate or criticism.
Okay, so we have a mover for that amendment. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Ternosky. Questions, comments, members of council on the amendment? Hearing, seeing none. Madame Cameri, quelque chose correct avec ça?
Just to make sure, so the only addition is for a period not exceeding 3 minutes each?
Exactly, thank you.
And that goes right after the may. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Parfait. With that, if there's no further comments, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor? All those opposed? Carried. Prochain item, c'était item N, the Accessibility Advisory Committee, recommendation 2023-005, Go Here Washroom. That council receives recommendation 2023-005 dated August 16th from the Accessibility Advisory Committee with respect to the adoption of the Go Here Washroom Access Program and application in the Township of Russell. Need a mover and a seconder to put on the table, please. Moved by Councillor Tonoski, seconded by Councillor Deakin. Councillor Lalonde.
Yes. I'm new to the process. I guess it's to propose a motion to give direction to staff to implement the GO,
So if I may suggest something?
if you could, yes.
Yeah, so as it reads, the council received recommendation 2023-005 dated August 16th from the Accessibility Advisory Committee with respect to the adoption of Go Here Washroom Access Program and application in the Township of Russell, and that direction be given to staff to investigate the implementation of this program.
Great, thank you for your help on that.
Okay, so we have a mover by Conseiller Lalonde, second by Councillor Ternoski. Questions, comments on this one? No, I think it's a good initiative. We can start off with our own municipal facilities, and then from a social media perspective, we'll be able to share that good news story and encourage local businesses to proceed. So I think that's good. We're okay with that, Mr. Godet? Okay, perfect. I'll call for the vote on the amendment itself. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. So now vote on it as amended. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Beautiful. Next, bylaws, item 16B, bylaws and attachment motion that council approve bylaws 2023-088B to 2023-096 inclusively for first, second, and third reading as listed on the agenda. Need a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Conseiller Larin, seconded by Councillor Tonoski. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Mr. Mayor?
Oui.
Can I get who was the mover, seconder?
C'était Conseiller Larin, puis Conseiller Tarnowski.
Perfect. And just a note, since we didn't separate the bylaw, I'll just add a note that the chart was amended for the procedural bylaw, just as per item 11J.
Yep, that's perfect.
Thank you.
Item 17, new business reports. We have none. Item 18, business presented by council members. Item 18A, Conseiller Larin, addition of a four-way stop at Route 200 and Hamilton Road. Conseiller Larin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think, and I think Mr. Bogon can correct me if I'm wrong, but about a year ago, a report came, I think there was a request back then as well for a four-way stop after an accident or a couple of close calls in that area. At the time, it wasn't recommended by staff. With the fact that we're currently in the process of paving North Russell Road from Route 200 to Burton Road. Over the last month, it's been gravel, so people have been detouring, and you're detouring down Route 200, coming to Hamilton Road. I think it's identified the fact that that road is, in fact, a hazard. It's slightly offset, and you are practically in the southbound lane, or sorry, the northbound lane, when you're trying to see if a car is coming southbound on the other side. And it happens both ways because of the slight offset of that road, the growth all the way around. I just think it makes a lot of sense to put a four-way stop there. We've also identified that Hamilton Road at that specific location, turning left going south, is the bicycle route for people coming off the bike trail. I think having all vehicles have to stop there will make it safer for people on bicycles, children using it for that purpose. So I'm asking council to, and I don't know which way we proceed with it, but I'm asking council to agree to direct staff to put a four-way stop in all the intricacies of what that would be, whether that's lines on the road or whatever that need to be done to identify it as a new stop sign going north-south at Hamilton and 200.
Thank you very much, Conseiller Lorrain. Through you, Monsieur Godin, Monsieur Bourgon, any thoughts?
If council take the decision to, to implement a four-way stop, we'll have to pass a bylaw. There's none prepared tonight, so we could have it ready for the next council meeting.
Okay. Any thoughts, members of council? Councillor Lalonde?
Yeah, I'm very familiar with the area. I cycle quite a bit. I'm up there quite often. That check in that road is a real hazard. It's to wonder sometimes with other places like that in the township where there's an awkwardness about who's stopping or not stopping, and in this case, there's a cycling trail that goes through it. Whether we would apply this across the board, but something to look at later. But at least in this case, and because I'm quite familiar with the intersection and because I'm aware of the close calls of last year, I could certainly support a four-way stop there.
Okay. Any other questions? Councillor Tarnowski?
And just for memory, just get some insight why it was not recommended to move ahead with this?
Monsieur Bourgon?
In order to implement or to warrant a four-way stop, there's a few there's a checklist basically, and none of the requirements were met in this case for this intersection. So we looked at volume of traffic, the turning movement, and line of sight.
Okay. Well, I think there's enough interest to bring a bylaw forward. So then if council decides that, we can have further discussion at that point in time and vote accordingly. But I think there's enough interest at this point in time to bring a bylaw forward at the next meeting, and then we can continue the discussion. We're good with that? Okay. Item 18B, myself, Healthcare Task Force. This was just a piece of information that I wanted to bring to the attention of council. I had a meeting last week with Dr. Debene, who I see is here, and Matthew Graveline, who sits on a resident and sits on a committee, a couple of committees of ours, in regards to, if you remember last year, Madame Doctor had presented to council highlighting the shortage that's going to be, well, already exists, but the fact that there is a doctor shortage and there might be more of a doctor shortage in the near future. So I had a good discussion with them both, talking about how to move forward. So just to let council know, they're going to be creating a resident-led task force. At this point in time, they already have some members together and they're working. And at one point in time, they might ask council to consider sending a member of the administration and a member of council to be present at these meetings, just so that they're aware of what's going on, similar to our citizen committees or the police village trustees. So this is very much just to give a heads up to council that this is being worked on, and when they get to that point, they might make a request. It's not a committee of council, but they might involve council in the future. So it was just to bring everybody up to speed. Councillor Deakin?
I think this is a great idea. I was just at a conference where dozens and dozens of municipalities were really sharing in the grief of trying to attract doctors and realizing that it's, you can't attract doctors that don't exist, and it's a real problem in our province right now. I wanted to ask, what would the relationship potentially be with staff? Because I understand that staff has been involved to some degree in supporting this, casual group at this point. So if a member of council were to go to that table, how would the line of communication and collaboration with the administration work?
Yeah, I think at this point in time, based on the discussion, when they do come to the table in the future, it would be for both a member of staff and a member of council to go through that committee, so we make sure that we have everybody at the table that needs to be at the table. So, no, we want to make sure working in conjunction with our administration and the proper information is shared. Any other questions? No? Okay, perfect. With that, we're already at the public consultation hearings. Technically, it's supposed to start. Oh, did I miss one? Oh, yes. My apologies. It's the item I added, actually. Item 18C, Leadership Féminin, Prescott-Russell. So Leadership Féminin had sent a request back in May to members of council. We all received it in our correspondence, and I had asked some questions for clarification purposes in regards to their request. Not sure that I got the answers 100%. It seemed like vague answers, but they did follow up with me last week, asking, that we be able to, whether we were going to support this initiative about their symposium that's coming up very shortly. So I wanted to bring it to the attention of council. They were asking for $900. So it was just open the discussion. You all saw the email. My suggestion would be, because one of the questions I asked was how many people from Russell Township actually attended this event last year, and there was no way of knowing. I would propose that that we put a program in place where, you know what, the first 10 people from the Township of Russell who register with this program can come to the administration office and get a 50% rebate on their registration fee. I think that would, and we can promote that to our residents and encourage those who want to go forward. My only concern is if we just give $900, there's no way to guarantee that there's any participation for the Township of Russell. So that's my suggestion. It's open for discussion if council is interested. If not, then, if council has no interest in supporting this initiative, then I'll just send a letter or a response saying that it was discussed at the table and council did not wish to proceed. So looking for comments or questions or discussion. Councillor Lorrain?
Remind me again how much it would cost to register for this conference?
I think the registration is about $130. Or the early bird fee was 130 or 135 in that range. So we'd be looking at approximately, worst case, we say 10 people maybe that can, be close to 900.
And do we know what they were requesting the 900 for exactly?
Just the coverage of putting on the event. Councillor Deakin, do you have any more thoughts or information?
Yeah, just to maybe tighten it up a bit, I kind of sense where Councillor Lorraine may be going, not to put words in your mouth, but if we're looking at helping folks cover the cost, perhaps we could sponsor a certain number of registrations flat out and be promoting what is quite a wonderful conference to build women's leadership in our region. I think that would be a bit more clear and easier to administer as well, and would have the same impact of getting Russell people out to the event.
Okay. Councillor Lorrain?
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. Something similar to that. You said the first 9 get half. What if we sponsored 7 people? The first 7 people that come in. The only thing is, where's the money coming from? So do we need to identify that? Is there money in the budget? Is there money in the community grants budget? Like what? Or do we leave it to administration to find the $900 somewhere?
Okay, we can leave it to administration. I don't think, even our discretionary budgets, based on the requests that I've seen over the past year, I think there's funds there. So this is very much a council initiative. So I would recommend that we just take it out of our discretionary budgets. It's not a large impact. You're talking $150 each, and most of us haven't spent close to our maximum. So
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll confirm what the rate is. So up to $900.
I think make it a number. Is it 7 people?
7 people.
The first 7 people that want to register. I
Okay.
think, that gets you to around that number. You don't want to say, well, 6.85 people
No,
can
I get you.
register like that.
Yeah.
I just get the first 7 people in. And
Okay. Everybody's okay with that? So Direction, Monsieur Godin. So we'll sponsor 7 people and we'll promote it on our social media and let residents of Russell know that they have that opportunity. Okay, perfect. With that, almost 7 p.m. So we'll move on to the public consultations and hearing. I'll just switch pages here. I believe. So we do have a list of people who have submitted their requests, but we do have a few presentations. So the members who are going to be coming up to speak, I'll invite you to come up to the lectern, state your name and address for the record. The first person we have on the list tonight is Dr. Daniel Debany and Dr. Archibald Residence. I guess you're solo.
Oui, Dr. Archibald n'a pas pu venir. Alors, je m'appelle Dr. Daniel Debany, je suis un médecin à la retraite. On s'est rencontrés l'année passée. Et je voulais tout d'abord remercier le conseil, remercier la municipalité pour l'aide qu'on a reçue et l'encouragement. Il y a beaucoup de choses qui se passent. Il va y avoir une foire aux emplois que vous subventionnez, que vous payez en fait. On fait une vidéo promotionnelle. Et j'ai le plaisir de vous annoncer que j'ai pu recruter un premier médecin pour la clinique de Russell. Il travaille en Angleterre en ce moment. I've been in contact with him since last March. Lots of emails, lots of coaching, lots of encouragement. He came this summer, really liked it, and he's coming, hopefully this winter or early spring. The only catch is that because he's not a Canadian citizen, we have to apply for an LMIA, a Labor Market Impact Assessment. Puis qu'est-ce que ça veut dire, ça? Ça veut dire que le gouvernement fédéral ne s'est pas encore rendu compte qu'il y a une pénurie de médecins et que nous devons payer 1 000 $ pour une demande. Et si cette demande est mal faite, il la refuse, on perd notre argent, il faut recommencer à zéro. Et donc, on a décidé que ça valait la peine d'engager un avocat qui fera le travail correctement la première fois. Donc, le coût du LMIA, c'est 1 000 $, le coût de l'avocat, c'est 3 000 $ plus taxes. Et je demande donc à la municipalité de nous aider à défrayer ces coûts. Parce qu'on a vraiment une chance inouïe d'avoir un nouveau médecin. Et je peux vous dire que c'est un gars qui est vraiment compétent et c'est un bon bonhomme, un bon jeune homme qui veut travailler fort. Et je pense que ça serait vraiment un atout pour la communauté. Merci.
Merci beaucoup. Just for clarification, I should have said this at the beginning. So this public session is really just to hear requests of the public. There's no decisions that are made this evening. This is very much a gathering of information. And later on next month during our public budget sessions, when we go through budget, that's when all the requests will come forward and then council will have discussions. And I would love to say that everybody gets, we were Oprah and we give everybody everything they want, but reality is there's financial pressures that we have to consider, so that'll be discussed during the budget session. So the next presenter we had on the list was Monsieur François Marion from the Marionville Citizens Committee. Not a rookie by any means. I think you've done this a few times.
Oui, effectivement, c'est la 12e année que le comité de citoyens de Marionville est en place et ça me fait toujours plaisir de venir rencontrer le conseil, les membres de l'administration. Premièrement, un gros merci pour l'appui que vous avez toujours fourni à la communauté de Marionville et de votre présence également lors de différents événements. Donc, nous avons consulté la population comme les dernières années et premièrement, c'est un fonctionnement annuel comme les années passées pour aider le comité à opérer, donc 500 $. Prochaine brochette, encore, on se répète d'année en année pour nos belles activités communautaires. Une demande de la subvention de 1 000 $ pour le comité du carnaval qui a lieu normalement fin janvier, début février à chaque année, et l'utilisation des installations, disons, de la salle communautaire durant cet événement-là. Deuxièmement, un dîner ou un souper à la cabane à sucre encore, organisé par le comité de citoyens, 1 000 $ pour la subvention et également l'utilisation de la salle communautaire durant cet événement-là. Troisièmement, le comité citoyen, en partenariat avec d'autres comités, organise une épichette de blé d'Inde, encore là une subvention de 1 000 $ et l'utilisation de la salle communautaire pour cet événement-là. Le Club du Bel Âge demande 1 000 $ pour la subvention pour le souper de Noël communautaire et également l'utilisation de la salle à cet égard-là. Les autres demandes, on les avait, disons, en place, mais j'ai voulu les documenter. Comme le Club Le Bel Âge, à l'occasion, ils ont des soupers pour deux groupes à chaque saison. Ils font une demande, c'est pour la location sans frais, disons, de la salle communautaire. La même chose pour le comité des citoyens. Nous avons de rencontres normalement à tous les 3 mois, donc seulement l'utilisation de la salle lorsqu'on organise ces rencontres-là pour la communauté. Numéro 7, nous avons eu, et on vous remercie, disons, au cours des 2 dernières années, dans le cadre de la fête sur la rue principale, rencontrez-moi sur la rue principale, Meet Me on the Main. Nous avons, disons, un orchestre qui fait fureur. Vous l'avez entendu à Meet Me on the Main à Russell. Donc, c'est 1 000 $ et les frais sont partagés par la municipalité de North Dundas et la municipalité de Russell au cours des 2 dernières années. Puis, on aimerait, disons, avoir accès à la salle communautaire pour les toilettes principales de la salle pour favoriser, disons, une approche là, commune et participative de toutes les municipalités. Nouvelle demande cette année, un tournoi de balle communautaire. Ça, je fais une distinction. Ce n'est pas le tournoi de balle à la fin de l'année où ce que toutes les équipes, disons, participent. Ça, c'est un tournoi de balle communautaire où ce que les gens de la communauté participent. Nous avons malheureusement un résident qui est atteint du cancer et ses jours sont comptés. Donc, on aimerait, disons, pour la prochaine année, fournir les recettes de ce tournoi-là à cette famille-là pour venir en aide. Il y a 3 jeunes enfants. Et on demande seulement, disons, l'accès du terrain de balle sans frais pour ce tournoi-là. Du nouveau, nous sommes à élaborer un site web pour Marionville. Et grâce à une subvention que j'ai reçue de la Ville d'Ottawa, nous sommes en train d'élaborer. J'ai une consultante qui travaille de très près avec nous. Puis, ça va être une belle opportunité de faire des liens avec les différentes municipalités, comme la municipalité de Russell. Comme à titre d'exemple, moi, je suis connu un petit peu dans la communauté, des anciens et des nouveaux. Les gens m'appellent souvent, est-ce qu'on peut louer la salle? C'est quoi les frais de la salle et tout ça? Je les dirige, disons, au département de parcs et loisirs sur le site, mais je pense que ça favoriserait, disons, je vais faire un lien direct, disons, sur des enjeux comme ça. Il va y avoir un frais pour l'hébergement du site de 21,95 par mois, donc on demande, si possible, si la municipalité pourrait absorber ces frais-là. Numéro 10, l'installation d'un panneau radar de vitesse. On en avait fait la demande l'année passée. J'étais sur une méchante piste. Je pensais que c'était sous la responsabilité de la municipalité de Russell, mais apparemment, ce chemin-là qui arrive à Marionville, c'est les Comtés-Unis. Donc, la demande que je vais faire cette année, disons, ça serait aux Comtés-Unis, mais lorsque je vais faire la demande, je pourrais peut-être préparer quelque chose pour un appui, disons, de la municipalité de Russell qui aiderait, disons, à la considération de cette demande-là par les Comtés-Unis.
Juste clarification, Monsieur Bourgon, c'est-tu Comtés-Unis de Prescott-Russell ou SDNG?
SDNG.
OK, parfait.
SDNG?
Ouais.
OK. Merci. Puis, finalement, pour les infrastructures, terrain de tennis, terrain de la patinoire de hockey, les gens demandent s'il y aurait possibilité de faire une transformation pour un terrain de pickleball sur ce terrain-là. Il y a plusieurs nouvelles familles qui se joignent à la communauté avec la nouvelle subdivision. Puis, il y a beaucoup d'intérêt des nouveaux et des anciens. Donc, seulement réitérer cette demande-là.
Parfait.
Donc, merci beaucoup. Puis, j'apprécie encore l'opportunité de vous rencontrer ce soir.
Merci beaucoup. So as point C, at this point, I believe that was the only 2 registered speakers. So if anybody else I should point out, sorry, there's a sheet there to fill out. We'll get Dr. Debani just to sign in afterwards. But anybody is welcome to please come and make your request for council's consideration and state your name and address for the record and just sign the sheet. And yeah.
I forgot, and I'll address myself to the crowd here. We are looking for volunteers for positions that we want to make physicians and healthcare providers feel very welcome. So if you're interested, let me know and we'll put you on our task force.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Yep. Everybody's welcome.
Thank you. Excuse me. My name is Rhonda Bradley. I live at 159 Edie Road in Russell. And I have three ideas for the council's consideration. My first idea is that I'd like to see money directed to in the next budget to establish a lobbyist registry. And my rationale is as follows. The Municipal Act authorizes but does not require municipalities to establish lobbyist registries. As developers, in particular, often have outsized influence on the shape and direction of a community, a lobbyist registry allows the public to track communication and correspondence between decision makers and those who seek to influence local decisions. Across Ontario, local councils are increasingly adopting lobbying registries as an additional tool in their commitment to transparency, further enhancing accountability and public confidence. In Ontario, Toronto, Brampton, Hamilton, Ottawa, Vaughan, Collingwood, Burlington, Pickering, the town of Blue Mountains, the Niagara region, as well as the region of Peel have all voluntarily adopted lobbying registries with success, and there are several others that are in the process of creating them right now. In smaller municipalities like ours, often cost and additional administrative burden are cited as reasons not to implement lobby registries. And yet, Collingwood is a great example where it is close in size and profile to Russell Township, and they have emerged as a leader in this space. They use their website to operate the registry and employ an independent integrity, ethics, and governance service to manage the process. They pay an average of $1,600 per year for this service. In the case of Russell Township, a lobby registry aligns with the township's stated mission and values. Given our rapid growth in recent years, the time has arrived to add to our transparency toolset. So that's idea one. Idea two, I'd like to see money directed in the next budget to enable a community-led public engagement policy and strategy for the township. This is my rationale. The Municipal Act requires that the township adopt and maintain a policy with respect to how municipalities demonstrate accountability to the public and the way municipalities will try to ensure that their actions are transparent. Public engagement is indeed a two-way street, but it doesn't just happen. It must be nurtured, and there is strong evidence to support the return on investment for local government. Research shows that investments made in well-designed and implemented broad-based community engagement will increase satisfaction with government performance, enhances trust, and helps make better, more robust, and resilient solutions, which in turn saves large amounts of money and time. Our township's accountability and transparency policy identifies the legislation, policies, procedures, and practices that the township complies with in order to promote accountability and transparency. For example, under the category of open government, our township references a public engagement strategy, and yet this strategy does not actually exist. While there may be a practice of developing communications and public engagement strategies in relation to certain township activities, there's not a comprehensive guiding policy or strategy. One of the practical applications of a comprehensive public engagement policy would be to provide better guidance to the township's corporate communications framework, which currently loops back to a non-existent corporate public engagement policy. These two efforts go hand in hand, and yet a significant and important piece is missing. That's all I have for today.
Item 3, sir.
I will hold on that one.
Okay,
Thank
thank you very much. Someone else would like to come up and make a request for council's consideration? Seeing none? Okay. Thank you very much. Councillor Lorrain?
Sorry, I do have one that was given to me this afternoon, so I
Okay.
wanted to I figured I'd bring it up.
Yeah, for sure.
During the meeting. I have a request from a resident by the name of Alan Sheldrick from Heritage Street, asking about paved shoulders, replacing the sidewalk or re-putting a sidewalk on Stiver Street, or on Concession, North Russell, whatever road, or South Russell Road, between Stiver and the fire hall. There was a sidewalk there when it was first built, and then it was removed, and he's asking for it to be reinstated.
Okay, perfect. We'll add it to the list. And just to confirm, Monsieur Godin, residents can also send in email requests, and they have until, I believe we had put a date of September 30th, is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Mayor. September 30th.
And I'll just pull out the information. So there is, on our social media pages, there is a place to share your feedback. There's also a survey as well to help guide the discussions and present options or rate what your priorities are as an individual in the Township of Russell. So I invite everyone to go do that. That being said, if there's no further requests, we'll move on. And the next item, announcements. Council have announcements. Conseiller Tarnowski?
Yeah, so just in keeping with the previous Councillor Saucier that was always here and promoting Terry Fox, I just want to encourage everyone. The Terry Fox Run is coming up September 17th on our path on both sides in Russell and Embrun. And so I encourage everyone to participate. It's a great cause that's near and dear to a lot of us. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Lorrain?
Yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to the Parks and Rec Department, and specifically the group that works with the Russell Arena. As we know, we had a massive heat wave last week that caused some significant concerns for the Russell Arena. And it was unfortunate that we had to push some of the ice away for the weekend to ensure that they didn't lose the ice. And from what Madame Guitallo told me today is they were able to maintain the ice, and it was available as of today to use. So that's no easy feat. I know it was extra long hours to ensure that they got it done, but I wanted to give a shout out publicly to that group for a job well done and not having to restart the process. So great job.
Good job, thank you. Madame Guitallo, pass along council's.
I will definitely pass on the message. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions, comments? I'll add, there's a few. This Saturday, we have the Heritage Festival in the village of Russell. A lot of events going on, a lot of activities. And so that's beginning, I believe, at 10 a.m. You can look at their Facebook page or social media pages and their website for more information. As well, at 12:30 Saturday in the village of Russell, there's a little ceremony for the renaming of the fire hall in Russell for our previous chief, Bruce Armstrong. So those who are interested in attending that are welcome. Yeah, and I think that's it on my side of things. Was there anything else, members of council? Councillor Deacon?
I think that this is a bit separate from the Heritage Festival, but it's the Autumn in the Country Arts Festival at the fairgrounds and across the township on Saturday as well. So there, as the mayor said, there's a lot going on in Russell, so I'll be excited to see what the artists have to showcase in terms of their studios and their work that they've been doing. Many artists in our community capture local scenery, local events through photography and painting, and I'm excited to see that. Je voulais aussi mentionner la Marche des Femmes qui aura lieu le 20 septembre à Rockland. Alors, l'objectif de cette marche est de sensibiliser la population à la violence faite aux femmes. plus particulièrement aux agressions à caractère sexuel. Alors l'invitation, c'est de venir marcher avec d'autres qui, comme vous, appuient la lutte contre les agressions à caractère sexuel envers les femmes et les jeunes filles de notre région. La marche commence à 18h à la salle de spectacle Optimus à Rockland.
Parfait, merci beaucoup. With that, we'll move on. Item 21, closed session, we have none. Item 22, confirming bylaw. That bylaw 2023-097? 098, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Russell at its regular council meeting held on September 11, 2023, be read a first, second, and third time and passed. Need a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Deacon, seconded by Conseiller Larin. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Our next regular public meeting of council will be held on Monday, September 25th, 2023, and we are adjourned at 7:19 p.m. Thank you very much, everyone. Bonne soirée.